are these people?
Let's talk about the real of what's happening in Gaza, especially for women. All right. Um, Probably have no place necessarily to. Well, here's what I'm going to say. As a man, I think it's very important if we respect women, if we care for women, then we care for all women. And we should be understanding of the issues that women in particular go through, regardless. But one thing that I know Sabby has kind of mentioned on her streams before, and no other women in the space have also mentioned before, like with all the bombing that's happening in Gaza right now, you know, women really can't take care of themselves. And I mean, what I'm talking about, they can't necessarily take care of their bodily functions, especially the ones that happen, month after month, if you know what I mean, in part because a lot of that aid allegedly that's supposed to get into Gaza is not getting in. And
Yep.
so the conditions that women have to experience, especially if they're pregnant, are deplorable. Why don't we do this first? Let's
I
play.
have that. What
Yeah.
if you need it? So
What?
the community page.
So let's play the clip first.
I got it.
Yeah, and then we'll go to that page on Al Jazeera, and then we continue from. So
And action. Without anesthesia.
yeah, Israel's ongoing bombardment and total siege of the enclave has exhausted Gaza's healthcare system and medical supplies. 50,000 pregnant women don't have access to medical care.
Oh, I can
The
understand.
nurseries are struggling. This is Dr. Aid Abdul Hashira, department head at Al Shifa Hospital. The nurses are struggling. We are understaffed of doctors. We lack medical equipment. There's a shortage of rooms. The labor rooms where we give childbirth right now, as we're speaking, don't have electricity. About 150 women give birth each day in Gaza. Doctors say they're seeing more labor complications than ever before. Cases of cesarean operations have increased. Cases of miscarriage have tripled. Lots of injured women admitted in our hospital have cases of placental abruption. Premature delivery has increased by a huge percent. Women who are injured in airstrikes are often forced to have C-sections to save their babies. Young women are having hysterectomy operations to save their lives. We had to perform hysterectomy to patients who could have
treated.
been treated, but because we didn't have blood, we had to make a decision because otherwise we would have lost the patient. Performing a hysterectomy to a woman is like robbing her of half of her life, but we have to do it to save her. All the while, hospitals in Gaza have run out anesthetics. 5,500 pregnant women are due to have their children this November. They say they are afraid of how they'll give birth and where they'll go. Our hospital doesn't have capacity. The patients that have come here are breaking our hearts. We can't give them proper treatment. Our enemy stops at nothing, not at babies. Or women, or elders, or men, or pregnant women, or even a fetus.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's just regarding the pregnancy cases in Gaza alone. So now, if you go to the community tab on AG Plus's page, we can give a little bit more information. So actually, that's kind of small. So do you mind reading You know this for me?
I got it. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So,
Yeah, I should have done that earlier.
displaced
But
women and girls in Gaza are facing unimaginable challenges since the start of Israel's siege on October 7th. Many are using just tents as scraps as periods pads. Becoming a mother should be a time for celebration in Gaza. It's another child delivered into hell. Tess Ingram, UNICEF communications specialist. Among the nearly 2 million displaced Palestinians, 1 million are estimated to be women and girls. 700,000 do not have access to basic hygiene. Only 1 out of 3 water pipelines between Israel and Gaza currently works. There is 1 toilet per 486 people in Gaza. Women are giving birth without anesthesia. Since October 7th, almost 20,000 babies have been born into war. That's 1 birth every 10 minutes. 2 mothers are killed every hour. Approximately 3,000 women have become widows and the heads of their household. At least 10,000 children may have lost their fathers.
so that's what
Yeah.
mainstream media is not telling you regarding the
Yep.
reality of women and children um, in Gaza. So this report is from Sky News, where they say women in Gaza having C-sections without painkillers as girls use tent scraps for period products. According to estimates from the UN's Agency for Palestine, only 1 of the 3 water pipelines between Israel and Gaza is functional, and there's only 1 toilet per 486 people. So the Sky News continues. Pregnant women are having C-sections without anesthetic, while others are forced to use scraps of tents in place of period products, aid workers say. Babies are being delivered into hell without their mothers having any anesthetic, according to UNICEF communication specialist Tess Ingram. With more than 1.9 million Gazans displaced since 7th of October, a tent city of almost 2 square miles has been set up in Rafah, south of the Strip. No food or medical supplies are allowed to enter the territory, including sanitary towels, tampons, and contraceptive pills that could stop or delay periods. Rifam Deshvari, an action aid worker based in Bethlehem, said, imagine having to imagine your period with no period products, toilet paper, or soap, and no chance of being able to wash yourself. This is the reality of hundreds of thousands of women and girls in Gaza right now. Some women cut parts of towels to use on their periods. This is not healthy. They're using parts of the tents or fibers. They cut part of it to use as pads, as some of them are using their extra clothes as pads.
Wasn't it Canada recently that was like male bathrooms need period products too? How about we take all those and send them to Gaza? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, wouldn't that be? Yeah, that would be nice. And actually, we do have some light in the end of this segment because there are ways
To
that
help.
actually you can help with this.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later. Maybe we should actually do a mutual aid campaign for this.
Sure.
We can talk about that. But anyway, using unclean materials as sanitary products can cause a risk of infection and potentially deadly toxic shock syndrome. Ms. Ingram added, seeing newborn babies suffer while some mothers bleed to death should keep us all awake at night. Women and girls have made roughly 70% of the 25,000 people killed in Gaza since 7th of October, according to Hamas-run health ministry. So yeah, that's the reality of girls and women living, in Gaza right now. Yeah, just basically the idea that, and keep in mind, just generally here, a lot of these products are expensive. So the
Yes.
idea that, you know, um, the fact that women don't even have access to that over there and having to
Mm-hmm.
use
Dirty
fibers that are
clothes.
not necessarily
Yeah. I
dirty
mean,
clothes, just dirty in general. And
yeah.
like, so besides like just not having to take care of yourselves in that way, but just the idea of just so much disease that is kind of being perpetuated, where they're at in these 10 cities right now,
Yeah.
which also could affect their health, but also could affect a pregnant woman's health, especially, that this is not being treated. But like AOC is like, because again, with her viral tweet, I think it was on Monday, she's like, oh, I feel bad for Gaza, but again, we gotta vote for Biden.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna keep making this point.
Yeah.
Um, so um, but right now the Democrats, and I'll call out Republicans too, because Republicans call themselves pro-life.
Uh-huh.
But we've also made a comment that they're only pro-life in terms of a fetus, but when they're out, fuck the baby.
Yeah.
And even Democrats are like pushing for abortion rights here.
Mm.
So this is from case study
Yeah.
QB. Our friend, no, not really. Joy Reid.
Yeah.
She is having a conversation, and actually, shout out to Nuna. I think he actually knows this woman,
Mm.
but I think he said that's his friend's aunt or something like that. But basically, they're talking about how this campaign affects women's reproductive rights. So let's just hear some of the propaganda that they mentioned here, and we'll continue.
Already so broadly being, the right is already being so broadly taken away, Minnie, that I wonder if the fight on the other side has been robust enough at the state level. We're seeing even Florida considering having a fight to get it into the Constitution. Is that what is going to need to happen? Every state put abortion care access into the Constitution.
It's a great strategy and it's been a winning one for our side, but it's not possible in every state. And that's the pragmatic reason why we still need to fight, not only to reelect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but to deliver a pro-reproductive freedom majority in Congress so we can pass a federal bill, a federal law that would cover the whole country. My home state in Texas, for example, you can't put a ballot initiative on the ballot because it goes to the legislature and there's a supermajority of extremist Republicans in the state. And that's just one of the many states that's in a lot of trouble right now. So we can't abandon those 21 states. We have to keep fighting at every level. That's the municipal level, the state level, and the federal level.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention about Donald Trump, it's not just about reproductive rights. It's also about democracy. So this morning I was in New Hampshire with our friends at End Citizens United and the Democratic delegation talking about the intersection, right? And if we reelect Donald Trump, it's also going to have disastrous consequences on our democracy, and our reproductive freedoms are intertwined with our democratic freedom.
And people should also understand that if he gets back in, there's a high likelihood that the older right-wing Supreme Court justices like Clarence Thomas and Alito will retire, so that Donald Trump could put two more 30-year-old or 40-year-old versions of them on the court. That would be the end of not just reproductive rights, but your rights, period.
This administration and Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats have worked overtime to make a record number of progressives to the judiciary. We cannot afford another term where Donald Trump is president for so many reasons. But the courts are a really clear one, to your point, not just the Supreme Court, but all those appellate courts, right? All those lower courts. Matthew Kacsmaryk, who's the person who's presiding over these disastrous cases, the mifepristone case, the medication abortion case, was the Trump nominee.
Yes.
Can you imagine if we had 10 more Matthew Kacsmaryks? We could not survive it.
So a couple of things. Notice that they didn't mention, well, they won't, but notice how they didn't mention that the Democrats had decades to codify Roe v. Wade. So this
And
wouldn't be
didn't.
an issue.
Yeah.
Number one. And number two, and they mentioned about lower state courts. And I know we reported on this maybe last year. Who was helped the turtle in pushing a lot of these judges in?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember?
No, but I'm sure it's someone we don't like.
Yeah, Schumer.
Oh, of course.
And
yes,
the only
yes,
reason
yes.
why he pushed them in is because essentially we wanted to go on vacation, so we couldn't give a fuck.
Oh, right. I
You
remember.
remember that?
Yeah.
And this happened while Trump was president.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear this bullshit in terms of, and again, I'm not saying it's not a concern. I do agree with what they're saying is that this kind of fight for abortion rights has to come on every level.
Mm.
But But on the federal level, you've had decades, Democrats, to push this to codify it. Obama had the time to codify it. You don't mention that. And it just reminds me, because I thought about this today, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and every woman was pissed.
Yep.
And went to the Supreme Court, and then there was a group that, and I won't, with people that we are familiar with. Elizabeth Warren came up and spoke about, oh, we need to speak about the Supreme Court and what they did and blah, blah, blah. And those women stood right there. They were 5 feet away from her and did not challenge her in terms of, okay, but Democrats, you had the opportunity to codify Roe decades ago. What's up?
Yep. Well, we're only allowed to be unreasonable to the people we're allowed to be unreasonable to, Collin. I thought you knew this already.
No.
You know.
Well, there's another person who figures is using our platform as little as she has, but she's been making a little bit of noise. So Saba, I guess her full name is Saba Saeed. Dick from RBN interviewed her last night. So go ahead. If you did not see that interview, I haven't seen it, but I heard from him. That was great. Go and watch that interview that he did with her last night. But she spoke about this regarding abortion, regarding women's rights in Gaza, just kind of what we talked about. She mentioned this on Face the Nation on Sunday. So let's remind ourselves what she said.
You said reproductive rights are a huge factor for you, but that you probably won't vote for President Biden.
I think it would be hypocritical of me to use reproductive rights as a way to justify voting for Biden when Biden is aiding and sending military aid to Israel, which is airstriking Gaza and blocking humanitarian aid, leading to women there who are pregnant, either getting C-sections without anesthesia, not being able to be provided with
prenatal care.
Yeah, which we just read and talked about. So yeah, I think just a kind of reminder, foreign policy affects domestic policy. You can't talk about having abortion rights, women's rights, health rights here when we're complicit in not giving women those same rights abroad. And so shout out to Saba for making that connection. And before all of you were like, oh, what's this white woman saying? Like, she's Palestinian too, so shut the fuck up. So
y'all be tough on those light skins out here. I'm telling you.
Right. She's Palestinian as well, just as friend of the show now, Tamara, last week. A lot of you claimed, but this white woman too, she's Palestinian too. So they have more than every right to speak on it. And thank you for using both of them for speaking truth to power in terms of what the Democratic Party is pushing for as justification to continue the atrocities that we're doing abroad. That being said,
Romanian lady.
Yeah. She is actually doing something about this. So we do want to end this segment on a positive note and maybe a way that you guys can help.
I brought her skits before. She does great Palestine funny skit stuff on Twitter. What is it? At Nicole Jeans. Nicole Genaise, I do believe. But she decided to do some stuff about some things. So let's see what she's been up to.
Hello everyone, today it's 18th of January and on this video I'm just gonna pile up all the videos that I did with the 4th shipment in the last 3 weeks. Is the biggest one so far, and we delivered this shipment on the 14th of January and we have almost 55,000 items so far, between jackets and gloves and shoes and pants and plovers, a lot of items. I'm gonna leave all the certificates and everything here, and I just want to thank everybody who helped, who shared, who supported. It's absolutely amazing. So Please forgive me if I don't know how to explain all the technical stuff, but I did the best I could to show you all the process, and enjoy the video. Please also stay tuned on the Instagram page of United Women for Palestine, where we are explaining the product of the period panties, a product that will be done also in my factory. And as soon as we have the quantity for me to source the materials, hopefully for the next shipment I can send as many products of period panties as possible. I'm here in the factory preparing one of the biggest badges that we sent so far in Gaza, and I want to show you everything we did in the last weeks. It's this double jacket that I absolutely adore. They can wear it both together with the polar and the waterproof, or if it's a little bit hot, they can just put this part of the jacket. And it has a capuchon and a lot of pockets, and it's actually very warm. The third one, it will be this jacket that has also reflective, and this one is not a double one, but it's also very warm, and if I can get closer here to see the material being waterproof. And this is the same like the other one, but different colors. What I liked about this one, that I finally found something that is green. And this vest, that it's also very warm but doesn't hinder the movement, and it's amazing to wear it on anything. So this product that we designed, it's a 100% cotton jacket, and the thing I like about it, and we decided to put those reflectives on because in Gaza we know there's no electricity and there are a lot of people working at night and trying to help other people under the rubble. You can see that with the flashes from the phone, this is very reflective, and we decided also to put the symbol of peace here so it cannot be like confused with any kind of uniforms. So those are all the same, and we have all those bags full of this type of jackets. I decided to do this product lighter because I don't want to hinder the movement of the people who are helping. So you saw the first, all those are the jacket, the double, the simple, and the vests. We also have pants for kids. I want you to see the material and how they are done. And on this badge, we have also for kids as well, like the last time. This capuchon. So on this other side, we have this kind of clovers. I really wanted to open the bags and show you how they're made, those materials. They're all the same but different colors. So keep in mind on the bags, not the boxes. All these, and all this side. So I wanted to show you the second model of gloves that we're going to send, because downstairs is not that much light. So they are very warm, and on this side it's anti-cutting, and it's also not slippery, so it's very good for work, and they're also very warm. They're not that kind of stiff gloves that you cannot use like for warming your hands, but at the same time they have this part of this kind of material on it. So today, 14th of January, we are loading the trucks for the 4th shipment.
Well, I hope those trucks made it, because they have been blocking trucks from entering.
Right. I'm just wondering if they have made it.
Hello, everyone.
But she was
so if
sending
you guys want
period panties and like clothes, children's clothes. So good stuff.
Yeah. So I forgot to put their information, but I'll put the Instagram link in the
description.
So if you want to support or learn more, you can. And yeah, like I said, we probably should consider us doing something, maybe maybe interview her and just kind of see, like, because I am kind of concerned, like, if they are really getting there,
Yeah.
based on what she's saying. But assuming if she's correct, that would be a huge help to
Well,
Ghazian women right now.
let us know what you think. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, please. Make sure to share. We appreciate all the help in that department we can get. But yeah, Ghost Start on the Rumble said a female IDF soldier died from a disease just from being in Gaza, so that could tell you the type of conditions that are over there.